Hi guys, welcome to Code Artisan Lab. Today we are going to create a to-do app with the Django REST framework and Next.js, and obviously we will use the CSS or Bootstrap framework. So in this video we are going to create this thing. I have created a simple wireframe. So this will be our home page. In our home page here we have a logo, login, logout, and some text for intro, and we have a button try now. It will actually redirect to login, right? About us is not important, but we can create a one page, right? And in the footer we will count the total visits, and then we will say design and developed by Code Artisan Lab, right? And in the second page I have created a two page, right? So in the second page, not second page, we have a three pages total. So in the second page we have a login, and in the login we have a login and sign up. And here you can see that in the login and sign up, username, password, and sign up, full name, username, password, correct? And then after login, user can see the to dos, right? Header will be same, and then task list, right? Status true false, obviously we will show the checkbox, and create a date, right? And here we will add a filter, new, completed, pending. So in this small project we will try to explore the Next.js and REST framework. One more thing that we will add in this project, we will add a token authentication, right? So when user login from the or sign up from the Next.js app, we will create a token when sign up, and then we will authenticate when login, right? So these are the simple features, two things. So user login, logout with token authentication, create, read, update, delete, to do item, right? And these are the sections that we are going to create, or you can say these are the you can say time frame that we are going to create for this video. So setup, the first thing is setup, and then we will create a template, login and authenticate with the token authentication, create and read to do, update and delete to do, and deploy the code on the server, right? Like we did in the clinic management system. Okay, so I hope you have an idea that what we are going to create. So I think without wasting any time, let's jump into the project and let's get started. Okay, so let's start to set up the front end and back end system for this project, right? So what I will do, let's go to cmd in the to do app, and then py minus m venv env, right? So this is our environment name, right? And why we need this? Because we want to isolate our project so it will not conflict with the versions of Django or Python or anything, right? So we have this. Now we will activate this virtual environment. So script / activate. So this command is different, this command differ from according to the operating system, right? So now you can see here the environment name. Now let's create the backend system, right? So first of all, pip install. Now whatever we install, we will install in our this environment, in this virtual environment. So pip install Django, so it will install the latest version of the Django. So and we will use the simple SQLite, right? So we will not use any kind of PostgreSQL big database, because our main focus is to API and the Next.js, and this is small project, so I'm going to use the SQLite, which is by default comes with the Django, right? So to do app, and we install Django. Now when we once install Django, we can run the command Django start project, and the project name is to do, correct? Actually we did wrong thing. We no need to create to do because we are already in the to do. What we need to do, we will do where are we? Okay, now here we will say backend, correct? so backend, right? Now we have backend. Let's go to here and the backend and the settings, right? So here we have a settings, and you can see here we have a default database SQLite. And when we run the migrations, so let's go to in the project, right, and then run the manage.py make migrations. Oh, we need to create an app, and then we need to install that app. Okay, so let's create the app. So py manage.py start app, let's say main, right? So this will create the application here. This is main and this is the app, right? And we need to install this app in the project level setting, right? So where here, here installed apps, we'll say main, and then let's install one more thing, Django REST framework. So we will say drf Django REST framework installation. So here you can see Django REST framework. So pip install Django REST framework, correct? Now we need to add this in the installed apps, correct? So here, correct? Now what we need to do, we are going to implement the token authentication. So what we need to do, here we have authentication, and when we say the token authentication, this is, we need to add this in this REST framework, correct? So what it will do, it will create the token corresponding to the user, right? Okay, so let's create, let's migrate, right? So py manage.py migrate. Okay, so now we have this one. Now let's create one more thing, manage.py create super user. Super user is like admin, right? This is one of my favorite thing in Django, right? And then this one. Okay, now let's run the server. Server is running. Let's run this. Here we are. Okay, now put the passcodes. Okay, here you can see we have a tokens, right? So it will corresponding to every user, right? So we will see that later, but currently we are focusing on how we can set up the things, correct? So our admin is set up. Now we need to set up the REST framework, right? So we have already added in our installed apps, correct? Now we need to add, let's open our urls.py file. This is project level URL, and create here, let's say API, correct? And then let's do one thing, let's include this one, right? So REST framework URLs, correct? So here we have REST framework URLs, and we will import this include module from the URLs, right? Now whenever we server is running, yes, server is running. So if we copy this and say that API, correct? So it is showing nothing, include REST framework URLs. It should show, let's go here, REST framework, and this is correct, and this is also correct. So API admin, and we will say login. Okay, so you can see here, actually on the API it's not, we have not done anything, but by default the REST framework URLs is login and logout, correct? So it means we just need to check that REST framework is properly installed or not. So it is installed, right? And now it's time to check the time to up and running the Next.js app, right? So our backend is properly set up, we need to fetch and post the data. We will see that later. We will see how we can authenticate and all that. And now we need to set our Next.js app, right? So let's do that. Okay, so for the backend, let's close this server. Let's one step back, clear the screen, and let's create npx create next app, right? And the app name is, let's say, Frontend. Remember that you should have Node.js installed, right? I am using, when I'm creating this video, the Node.js version is 20 or maybe 20 plus, and Next.js version is 14.xx something, right? So please install the Node.js, right? You can follow the Node.js tutorial, right? Node.js, not tutorial, Node.js documentation, that how you can download for according to your operating system. And from there you can install the Node.js. So I have already installed. So this is the command to create a next app. So npx create next app frontend. So let's say, so it is saying need to install the following package. Okay, one more thing, let's deactivate the environment. Okay, now let's run the command. So I will say yes. Would you like TypeScript? No. ESLint? No. Tailwind CSS? No. Source directory? Yes. App router? Yes. So I'm just going through the default settings, correct? So I think it will take maybe less than 1 minute. So let's wait few seconds. Okay, so it's created, right? Now let's go to front end and then npm run dev, right? So let's see, localhost 3000, copy this and paste it here. Okay, so let's see now, ready in 2.8 seconds. So you can see, so Next.js is created by Vassal. Okay, so it's showing the home page, right? So let's just for the, because we have set up these things, so let's go to front end. Okay, and let's go to source app, and this is page.js, which is we are seeing this. So what I will do, I will just remove everything, right? And remove this thing also, and remove this thing, right? And I will say this is home page, correct? So you can see here this background comes because this page is children of layout.js, and in the layout.js we have global.css. Let's remove that also. Let's remove, I just want to keep it simple, right? So let's remove this. So this is the metadata, right? With this metadata you can define the title and description. This is very helpful for SEO. And but remember, you can create metadata only in the layout level files, right? Not in the children level files, correct? So if I see this, then you can see here this is home page. Now let's install the bootstrap. So we will install that. So npm install bootstrap, so it will install the latest version. Like we have in Python we have a pip, in the Node.js we have a npm Node.js node package manager, right? So we have installed. Now in the layout, what we will do, in the layout we will do import bootstrap. This will automatically comes from the node modules, distinct css bootstrap .min.css, correct? Now when we run the app now, so let's see, refresh the page. So it's compiled. So you can see here fonts has been changed. It means bootstrap has been installed, right? So if I think it's compiled, node Next.js compiled all the things, but now it's showing, correct? So we have successfully prepared our backend, our front end. Now it's time to go deep in this system. We will create a layout in the Next.js, then we will call the we will create an API, then we will connect our front end and back end with the API. So we will do those things, right? So currently we have a separate app, like we have a front end as separate, back end in separate. Now in the upcoming sections we will see that how we can connect and how we can do the things, right? So let's start to create the templates in the Next.js according to our requirements, right? Okay, so first of all, let's create the home page, right? So for the home page, I will take reference from the official documentation of the Bootstrap. So I will go to home page, and I will go to docs, and I will go to Navbar. So I have a little bit knowledge of Bootstrap, so it will easy for me to create the things. But if you are a beginner in Bootstrap, then please go to follow the documentation of the official documentation. And here we have a nav bar, so let's create the nav bar first. Okay, so let's copy this one, and in the page, not page, let's create one more thing. Let's create a header, right? So I will say header.js. In the app I will create a components, right? In the components I will create header.js file, right? And in this I will create, so I will copy this one and paste here, right? And I will say it header, and in this header I will copy paste the nav bar, right? So copy this one and paste here, correct? So I hope you have a basic knowledge of React. If not, then you can follow my other videos where I am creating the templates and all the things like multi-vendor e-commerce. I have created so many projects in React.js, so you can follow those. If I go to playlist, so here you can see that multi-vendor e-commerce, learning meme system, very nice thing, that 105 videos, 93 videos. So in this I think you will get at least basic knowledge of React.js and Django and API and all these, right? So here we are. So what we need to do, we need to remove this class name because it should have class name, correct? So this one, correct? So now this is a header, so we need to import the header in the layout. So here I will say header, so this is from component. So here you can see that this is imported. I think we should have it in the page. No, yeah, this is, it should have it in the page, or it should have in the layout. I think in the layout, yeah, this is correct. So in the header we have this children, and before the children we should have this header component, correct? So header component, correct? So we have this header. Now let's see that how this is working. Okay, so header is coming. Let's remove the page, let's say home, correct? Now this header should be in the container, so I will remove the container fluid. So this is nice. Okay, now this should be in the right, so margin start should be auto, and let's remove these links, these two links, right? And then the second one is let's say login, right? So home, no need for home I think, or let's say this is login, and this is about us like we said in our wireframe, right? So and you can change the uh, header visuals. You can see here the background and all the things, right? So navbar, we have this thing. Okay, so navbar, you can add the styling, you can add all the things. So if I do this navbar, this one, then it will be black navbar, right? So it will like look like this, correct? Not sure why this is doing this icon. If I say this, okay, let's make it, keep it. So border, so okay, this is fine. And we will say here my to do, right? And for the layout, we will also add one more thing, div class container, right? So children, all the childrens will be in the container because I like the container style. All the personal opinions, so this is my opinion. Okay, so my to do, login, about, here we can add a intro text something. So what I will do here, I'm not sure, we can say, let me find something out. Okay, so let's create something custom for our home page text. Let's open our Frontend, source, app, components, and we have header. Let's go to page, and in the page we have home here, right? So what I will do, let's create a class container, correct? And in the container, let's first of all make sure it's properly indented. Okay, so in the container, let's create a div which has class bg light and which has padding something, right? And then we have, actually it should be container fluid, right? And we will give this class to this, and here we will add the container, right? So container fluid pg light. So this is kind of okay, I understand. Actually this is not in the container because of the layout, right? Because in the layout we have added this container. Let's add the container fluid here, right? And our header is already in the container, so you can see that here we are. So container fluid pg layout, okay. So this is taking margins, this is taking padding and margins. So if I go to get bootstrap, you can see here, see this, this margin is taking. So what I will do, I will say I want to make it 0, right? So gx, right? So gx 0, let's see how it works. No, then let's do one thing, let's create a row, right? And in that row we will add this bg light. Okay, let's remove the container, correct? Let me show you what I want to say. See this, right? I want to make it gx0, okay, gx5c, right? So this is full now, so we can make it light, right? And then we have, let's add a text. We will add the lorem ipsum text, we can add from here also. No suggestion. Then let's copy this star, bootstrap. Let's copy this one, paste here, see this, right? Let's make it center, right? We can do margins Y more than, yeah, this is nice, correct. Now here we can give any kind of introduction when user visits on this site, right? I think we should give our own, so we'll say this is Todo App, and here we can create our space for our to do tasks, right? And we can perform actions like create, read, update, and delete, right? Okay, and now let's give a button, and we will give a class button dark, right? And then we will say try now, and we'll give a text center to the row. Okay, so this one, and let's give some margin. Okay, so this is nice. All right, now when we click on this, then it should be it will go to the login page, correct? So I think home page is enough for now. Let's create one more thing. We need to create a footer, right? So let's create footer.js, and in the footer we have this one, and we will create simply design and developed by Artisan lab, right? Yeah, and we can give a anchor here, so this one, correct. And in the layout we will import the footer, and we will give the footer after the children, right? So here we are. Give some padding horizontal, vertical 4, right? And where is that layout? Footer, export default footer, oh sorry, right? And then we have this text center, correct, design and developed by Artisan lab, and let's give bg dark, or you can say bg secondary, right? And we'll give text color white, so design and developed by Artisan lab, and this is blue, so let's give it a class text white, right? Here we are. So design and developed by Artisan lab, like we discussed in wireframe. Okay, so this is our home page. I know this is not very functionable, but yes, because we are creating this to-do app, so from here we can navigate to the try now will go to the login page, right? And if user is logged in, then if we go to the home page, then we can say here see my to-do list, we can see here, right? Now let's create the about us page also. So for the about us page, what we will do, in the header, okay, so let's copy this page and create a new, and we will say here about, right? And in the about we will need to create a page.js, right? So page.js, so here we are, okay, and we will say here about, and this is same thing, but we just need to remove try now, and here we will we can keep the same thing for the about us page. Now in the header we have to add the pages router, which comes with the default Next.js work as a Next.js router work in the pages, right? Like I have created a folder about, and then created a page.js. So when we space this about, then it will automatically try to find the about us page, about the folder, and in the about folder we have created page.js, or you can create index.js, or you can create home.js, so it will be the same thing, but for this route you have to create this thing, correct? So in the about we have added the same. Let's do about us, so we will understand that it is loading this page, correct? So this is loading this page. All right, so now we have this page, and now we have when we go to, okay, so currently we are going to this page from the URL. Now we need to link this, right? So we have header here, so I'm going to import our module, import link from this will be link, so link from next link. So what it will do, it will optimize our anchor URL, or you can say the link tag, okay, for the route, okay? So link, and the all the 1 minute, okay, and all the things are same, but this tag will change, correct? So we have this link tag, right? And we will say here about, correct? So server is not defined, let's keep it anchor. All right, so it is saying next is up to date, undefined. Why this is undefined? It should be link, next link. This is correct. Let's see here. Now this is also correct. Let's check it, why this is undefined showing. Link href about, if I say here hash, and why this is showing this thing. Next we'll say 1 minute, we'll say link next. Oh sorry, we need to import this like different thing, with a different style, right? So here you can see that. Now we can say about, before we are importing like this, like a constant or like a package, but now we need to return, now we need to import like this, right? So now it will work, okay? So when we click on this, it will go to about. We also need to add this in our page.js file, main page.js file, so we can one minute, not page dot, we need to route this here, okay, with a slash. so it will go to the home page. So home page, about, right? Okay, so let's remove this active. Okay, let's remove this current page. All right, so login, about, right? So now what we need to do, when we click on this login, it should load the login page. So let's create the login page now. Okay, so for the login page, let's create, let's copy this one, copy this, paste here, and we will say here login. In the app we need to create a login, and then in this we will say this time index.js, right? And we will say login, and in this we will just simply define h4 login, correct? And from the header we will give a link, correct, for the login. Let's say login, correct? When we click on this, it is saying, oh, why this is, it's not loading the index.js file. Login, this is login. Okay, let's rename this then, home login. Let's say home.js. Let's say home.js. No. Okay, then let's say page.js. Okay, now it means only page.js is login. All right, then I think I've read something different. Okay, no problem. So it means we need, for the pages router, we just need to create page.js, right? But where I have read that home or index will also work. Okay, no problem, we'll see that later, that what was that. Okay, so now we have a login. Where is that login page? Page about, let's go to app, let's go to login, let's go to pages. Okay, so here, right? So now we need to create a container, right? And in the container we should have row, right? All right, so what we need to do, we need to create two columns like we define in the, in our app. Let me show you, let me show the app, 1 minute. Okay, so in my rough wireframe you can see that I have created a simple layout, login and sign up in a single page with the two columns. So let's create this kind of thing, right? So I have a row, right? And in this row I have a class, let's say call 6. What is this? Okay, so call 6, and we will say call 6 now again. So we will say login, and here we will say sign up. Great. Okay, so sign up and login. So let's go here, and you can see here sign up and login, correct? We will give for the container float, we will give some vertical padding, this kind of thing. And in the container also we will say text center, text center, let's give text center. Okay, let's create a form, we will see that. So for the bootstrap form, we'll give overview, we have this kind of thing, so we can copy this, right? So we are creating a simple thing, so we don't need the remember functionality, so I'm going to remove this. And we need to close this tag, right? So here, so we are going to add email address, so we'll say email and remove this line. type email is correct. Let's remove this thing, we'll keep it simple. Email and password, so let's remove also. Well, let's keep it a simple password. Here ID will give email, let's give email here, and then we have submit. Okay, so let's see here, email and password, right? So we can give here one more thing, login, correct? So this form will go this line, so login, and we can give one more thing, HR, right? So it will give a line here, login. We can do one thing, 5 column 5, and this is also 5, but offset you can say 1, so offset 2. Okay, all right, so we can copy the same thing, same form here, from here to here. Okay, and here we will say sign up, correct? So login and sign up, and we'll give some margin for the form, margin top 3 you can say, correct? And we'll say class name 3. All right, so margin. Okay, so let's discuss about the login form. So email password is correct, right? And for the sign up we need to add name, what are the name, username and password. Here login username and password, so let's say username. Then if we have username, then let's say username. Okay, so username and password, so we'll copy this name and paste here, and we will say username, correct? So this one, and name will be name, and this will be text, and this will be also text, and for this will be also text, correct? So username, password, submit, name, username, password, submit, right? So this is our login form, this is our sign up form. Great. So we have created this this thing also. Now we need to create this template, my to-do list, right? So after login, user will see the to-do list. Okay, so let's create that template. All right, so we need to create the this one. Where is that? Yeah, this to-dos. So what we will do, we have about us, we will copy this, paste it here, and we'll go to okay, so we'll save this in the app. We will go to here, and we will say my to-dos, right? And in this my to-dos, we will create page.js, right? And here we will say my to-dos. Okay, and then in the container fluid we have a lot of things, so let's remove this, and let's create a fresh div, we'll create a row, right? And let's set the router also. So for now we need we will just create a link in the header, because we are not implemented the authentication. So let's say my to-dos, right? So here we will say my to-dos. Great. And then we have my to-dos, we have a folder here, and in this we have this thing. Okay, so let's say we will say here my to-dos. Great. And let's go here, and you can see this link. This link will show only when we logged in, but for now, because we are just designing the templates, so I have added the link. So when we click on this, it is loading the my to-dos, right? So before that, we will create a container, right? And then we'll go here, so let's go to Okay, so now in the container field we'll do the same thing. We'll give some vertical margin, vertical padding. Okay, so in the my to do we have a table, right? So you can see here we have a table, a new like this task status created, those things. So what we will do, so in the container no need to create a row, we will create a table, right? And in the table we will give table border, right? The first row is heading, so we'll give a task this, and then we will define here the status, right? And then we will define here what we define status, and then created date, or we can say created add, right? So when we go to this, then it is showing like this, right? So let's go to table border. Okay, so we have this thing, and in the table we can say t head. So t head denotes the table heading, right? So this thing, okay, and then t body, right? So in the t body, let's define a constant data equal to array of data, and in this array we have let's say id 1 and task. Let's say task is we can say task is item 1, right? Status false, right? And created at, we will say 2324, right? So this one, so we can do the same thing here, copy paste, and we'll do 2 here, 2, this is 1, right? And here we can do the simple thing, data dot map, and in the map we can return the row, and in the row we have td, and in this we have item and then index, right? And because it should not create the key error, so we will define index, and this will be our task. So item dot task, so item dot task, and then status, and then created at, right? So you can see here status showing this one. Let's define one more thing here. So we say item dot status, then we will return, okay, so we didn't added the let's say completed, right? And if not, okay, we can do one thing, if this, then completed, else pending. Okay, so it is showing pending now. Later we will add the icon, correct? So task status and pending, correct? Okay, let's do true, right? And this is showing completed. Let's add here item 1. Let's remove this one, actually let's remove this status. We will do something in the task. So what I will do, let's do one thing here. So what we can do, item dot status true, then we will do one thing, span, not sure what is the strike tag, strike truncate, or you can say text transform. Okay, so text what we can do with text align. Okay, I want to strike text in HTML. Okay, so we can use the s tag. Okay, so if this is true, then we will add the s, and in this we can say item dot task. Correct. So if you go here, what, okay, sorry, or if not, then we will simply return the task. Why this is not showing here? Because this, 1 minute. Okay, let's say dollar, no, not dollar, this escape string, and then we have this dollar symbol. It should work now. Yes, but s tag is not working. Okay, no issues. What we will see something different, but you understand that what I want to, I just want to strike this tag, right? So not sure why this is returning this one. I want to return the strike text if it's completed, right? But we can do one thing. If this is state, we can just do one thing, copy this and paste it here, right? And here we can say class, right? And class, in the class we can say item dot status, item dot status, then we will say text green, else text dark, right? So if status, then task text success, sorry, so success, and this dark. I will add the strike tag also, but I will see that how we can add, right? Okay, and if you know the how we can add, then please add in the comment section. Okay, so here we have the task and create it, right? So I think we have completed all the templates. What all? We have 3 templates, so I think we have completed. Oh, one more thing, we need to also add here count the visits. So before the design and develop, we will also need to show total users. So we can do one thing, in the footer we can create a row, right? So we can create a container. Actually, in the container we can create a row, and in the row we can create 2 columns called 6, and in this we can add this one right here. So if I go to this, okay, nice. So what we need to do, container fluid, container fluid, and then we have to add 5 container fluid. We can't add in the container fluid, design and developed, we need to do something different. So okay, so if I go to give padding x 5, oh, leave it now. For now we just need to add the text. So what I will do, I will just remove this bg background, right? So text, let's remove this text also. So design and developed by, and one more column we will say, let's remove this anchor. We will say total views equal to, and we will show in the code form. So total views, this one, correct? Okay, so how we did for the page? Okay, so here we have container fluid, then row, and then we have this. So where is the footer? Here. Okay, so this is 5, so not 5, let's say 3, right? And then bg light, not light, let's say secondary, and text should be white, right? And this text also should be let different color, text success. Success is not showing, we need to add one. Okay, so total views is this, design and developed. Okay, so this is working, right? Text center, let's remove this because we have added in the text center here. All right, so we have I think we created the layout. Now we need to work on the backend system. Great, so let's work on the backend system, let's work on the APIs, right? So let's start to work on APIs. Okay, so let's start working with the API. So we will start from the sign up. So what we are going to do, first of all, we will register user, right? And we will create the corresponding token for this user, right? And we will also show the messages that user is signed up or not, or if any error that we will show. And after the sign up, we will proceed to login, right? So let's start with the sign up. Okay, so first of all, we will work on the sign up. So what we will do, first of all, let's create a one file called serializer, right? So what the serializer will do, it will convert our model data to proper JSON format, right? So you can say this is same like a form in a normal Django website, right? So this is the same thing we do in a serializer if we are working with the API. So it will validate the data, it will accept the request, it will send the response, right, from model to client, or you can say to views. So, sorry. So we will create a serializer for the user model. So as we know, Django comes by default with the user model. So we will use that model for our sign up, and we will create the serializer. So first of all, we need to from REST framework, we will import the serializers class user. There are so many types of serializer, but we are going to use the model serializer. So you can check what other types of serializer in the official documentation. So you can see here model serializer, here serializing objects, you can define the fields or all the things, right? You can check the documentation. So we will follow the model serializer, it will automatically uh, accept the model and or do the necessary things, right? Okay, so model serializer class meta, as I said, this is same as model form. So model equal to, let's import from Django dot contrib dot auth dot models import user, right? So user, and we need to define the fields equal to first name, last name, username, password. Okay. What other fields are? Okay, four fields. Correct. So we defined the serializer, right? Now let's use this serializer in views. Okay. So from dot serializer import user serializer, and from REST framework let's do got the REST framework dot generics import list create API view, right? So with this class we can use the API view to uh, show the all user list, or if the method is post, HTTP method is post, then it will create the data, right? We will see all the things. Okay, so class user API view list create API view. Here we will define first of all serializer class. So user serializer, then do the query set equal to, okay, let's import the user model from here. So users dot objects dot all, right? So don't be confused, it will automatically do the query set according to the HTTP method. If get, then it will fetch the data. If post, then it will add the data, correct? Now in the URL, this is the app level URL actually. All right, this is, then we will need to do URL patrons path this users in here from dot import views, sorry, in here views dot user API view dot as view, right? Because this is class based view, so we need to define as view. Okay, now we need to include it here also. So path, then API, and then comma include main dot URLs, correct? All right, then if we go to the app, right, and API, it is showing nothing. Let's go to users, so it will show the users, right? So this is this UI comes with the browsable feature, comes with the Django REST framework, so it is helpful for development, right? But if you call this API from the Next.js or any other front-end framework, then it will obviously show all the data, right? But this is useful for development, correct? Okay, so here you can see that it is returning all the data, right? And if we post this, then it will add the data. No need to change anything in the view or anything in the serializer. It will automatically send the data, right? But we will send the data from the next app, right? So now let's do this from this part, and we will see that how we can connect with the Next.js with the Django REST framework with the API. Okay, so let's do that. All right, so let's open the sign up component. So here we have in the component, we have a sign up component. So one thing we should remember, by default, uh, all the components and all the things by default, all the pages are in Next.js are server rendered, right? So if we want to include the user activity like click or something, then we have to make it a client component, right? So what we will do, at the top we will say use client, right? And then in this sign up component, let's create a handler. So on submit, we will say on submit, and before submit, please check that you have defined the name for every input or every element in the form, right? So we will say handle, or we can say submit handler, right? So submit handler, and we are going to create this function, async function submit handler, right? And then here we will say e. E means this context of the form, so e dot prevent default, because default when we submit this form, then it will reload the page, but we don't want to do that. So prevent default, and then we have defined the constant form data equal to new form data e dot target, right? So what it will give us, it will give us the all form data, right? Now in from this, we need to constant first name equal to fd dot get the name of this field, right? And we'll do the same for all four fields, correct? Okay, so last name, and then username, where is that, username, and then password. I think we should give it the same name, no? So here last name, right? So here we will give last name, all right, then username, and then password, correct? So we have this four data. Now let's check that this data is working. All right, so we'll go to here, right? And let's go to console, and if I submit this, then you can see here we have all the data, first name, last name, username, and password, right? Now we need to send this data to the server. Okay, so the server URL is this, right? We need to send this data with the post method here. So what we will do, send data to server. All right, so here we will do constant response equal to, because this is a sync function, so we need to fetch. First of all, we need to define the URL. Later we will define the common variable. Then we need to define the method post. We need to define the body, which will be JSON dot stringify, and we need to define this FD form data. Now we need to do first name, last name. We need to do constant form data equal to this thing. We have done wrongly here. Actually we need to do this kind of thing. So one, okay, right? Then all right, so here, and then form data here. Okay, and then we have to send headers. headers will be content type application JSON, right? Okay, so uh, this is our okay, let's see what it is returning. We will say response data equal to response dot JSON, right? So wait console dot log response dot data. Okay, so if everything work, then let's see how it is working. So submit. If I go to network and if I click here, nothing is happening. Submit users and receive. Okay, so it is returning all the things, requesting we are this response is this. Okay, so this is 201, right? So it means data is creating. Let's check here. Here you can see that. All right, so data is creating, right? So we successfully called the API. Now what we need to do, so we'll say here we have response. So if we say okay, so let's, if I say this, click again, then you can see here 404, the data is saying that username is already exist. So what we need to do, if user signed up successfully, then we need to show the message. If not, then we need to show the errors, right? So let's do that. Okay, so let's show the success and error message for this sign up. So what we will do here, so first of all we will see if we will see here if this response, let me show you first of all this response, then we will it will clear to you. All right, so this is response, and if I open this F12, let's say these three things in the all fields and submit. So you can see here, all right, so this is not showing actually response, but we need to do again. Let's remove this. Oh, sorry. So submit, you can see here this response, it is saying status 400 and status text bad request, right? And if I say let's say RTY and submit, and it is saying status 201 status text created, right? So from this response we can show our success and error messages. Okay, so for our success and error messages, we can see here console.log response data, right? In this response data we should have all the data, right? Errors or anything. Okay, so let's, I will copy this username same, right? And so if I submit here, you can see here these are the errors, right? So we need to show this. Okay, and if status is status is 200 or okay is true, then we can show the success message. So let's first of all show the success message, then we can see other things. All right, so we will use the use state from the React. So I will say use state, it will automatically fetch. I'll remove this, and from this constant we will say success success message, set success message equal to use state default null, right? And same for the error message. For the error, we can say error messages because multiple error, and this will be list empty, right? All right. So for the success, we can show here if response dot okay, then we can show this data uh, thank you for registering with us, registering with us, right? Else success message will empty. Yes, sorry. Else null, right? And then we have success message we can show in the form here. So we'll say if not equal to empty, right? Then we will show the message success message, correct? So let's say correct, submit. Oh, sorry. So let's say quality, this one with one, this one, submit, and you can see here thank you for registering us. Okay, we also need to add one more class, text success, right? And submit. So you can see it is not showing because the error is exist. And if I click here, thank you for registering us. Okay, because this is another uh, data we created because everything is all right. Now we need to show the error messages, right? Okay, so here in this response data, in this not okay response, what we will do, constant response data equal to fade response.json. So this is our response and this is our JSON data, right? Then we will create a where errors equal to list, and then we will do for not for, we will say um, what we will say for each loop. Okay, so this is our array, actually not, we need to we need to fetch every object, we need to we need to send. First of all, let's see how this data is showing. So console.log response.data, and if I click here, right, if I see this submit data is registering. If I click again, it is showing the objects, right? So we need to run the loop, correct? So let's run the loop. Okay, so for the errors, what we will do, we will do this thing, right? So object.values, so it will convert all the objects, right? All the a list from the objects, and then we are using the flat map. So what it will do, it will convert all the arrays into single array, right? So this is our single error, and it will gives us this error list, right? So if you go to here and click submit, then you can see in the network tab we have here, sorry, let me show you this. So est and this submit. So you can see here this is showing a single array. Now I will convert this array into the string. So we will say error string equal to error list dot join, and let's say new line, right? Correct. Or we can say p tag, with the p tag, yeah, this is fine, new line is fine, right? So here we have new line. Great. And then let's say set error messages, error string, and in the success error messages will be empty. Correct. Okay, so all right, so we are ready to show. Let's see. Oh no, we need to do one more thing. Error messages, we will show the error messages here. So we will say error messages not equal to empty, then we will define div class alert danger, and here we will show error messages. Great. Now let's see, it should work now. Submit. What it is saying, not sure. Let's see. Submit. Okay, the user with that username is already exist. Great one, thank you for registering with us. Let's do the same thing for the message this. So what is this? Let's remove p tag, no need. Okay, so success. Correct. Submit to. Okay, so let's what is this? Not equal to empty, then we have this thing. Why this is showing this div? Okay, let's see. Copy, paste, 1 2, submit. Right, submit. Great. All right, so now it will show all the errors and sorry, all the errors and success messages also, right? So now we can move to the login and then my to-do list. Okay, so let's start working on the login system. So for the login system, we need to pass the username and password, and then it will give us a token, right? Because we are using the token authentication. So first of all, we need to add this in our installed app. I think we added already. So let's check this. So if you go to backend and settings, so here you can see that we have added, right? Now the second thing is we need to pass the username and password, right? So we will use the this thing obtain auth token, right? So when using token authentication, you may want to provide mechanism for client to obtain token given this. So we need to pass username and password. It will give us the token, and this token will save. We will save in the local storage in the browser so that we can maintain the login state, right? And if token exists in the browser, then we can allow user to do the my to do actions, and if log out, then we will delete the local storage. So we are going to do this whole process in the login system, right? And if user is logged in, then user cannot access this login page, right? So let's first of all, let's obtain the token with the username and password, right? Let's open the login component. So here we have a sign up, and if we go to app and login, and here we have a page, right? So let's create the same thing as we have a sign up. So let's say copy this and paste new and save this, and we will say login.js, right? And where is that? Okay, so in the page we should have login component. So here we will use login, correct? And for the login, here we have, so let's remove this form, and we will simply say so here we have HR this form, right? So login component, and in the login, what we need to do, let's first of all change the name login. Okay, so success message, error message is same. Form data, we just need to do username, password. Oh, we just remove this two things, right? Method post content type JSON. Success is thank you for login. Let's keep it, then we will later we will redirect. We have error list. Okay, we are showing the error. Submit handler, no need for the this row, no need for this row. So username and password, and then submit. So let's check the front end. What it is saying, login has already been declared. Okay, so we'll go to page and we'll say page original factory, next up to date. What we can say authentication. All right, so username and password, and we have a submit. One more thing, let's do the basic things, like this field is required, right? And password is also required. And let's also do one more thing, let's do the span, right? So what we are going to do here, span and asterisk sign, and then class text danger, right? And we'll do copy this, required equal to required, right? Space, why this is showing multiple attribute with the same name? Oh, here. No need to do this. Let's remove this. Let's say text danger, and we'll copy this one, and paste here. Let's remove this. We already done, I think. Okay, so username password, click here, so it will show the it will show us the that this field is required. We need to submit this. Okay, so submit, this is submit handler, and in the submit handler, this way we are sending this data. So if we go to network tab, and we need to do one thing, we need to copy this one and open our app level URLs page, this one, paste here, and from the REST framework we will fetch this view. Okay, token, the token authentication, right? So what we will do, token auth. So let's go to login and we'll say token auth, right? So we are sending the data, username, password. It should show the success message. Let's see. So how much data we have? Let's do this. Let's check this. Okay, so cd backend py manage.py run server. Hmm? What are they saying? Views dot as rest views. It should not be the same, right? Still let's do one thing then. Views import user API views, correct? Okay, and let's keep it as a views. Now let's see. Still facing the issue. Let's do one thing then. Let's copy this and paste it here. Frozen the file name directory on the syntax incorrect. Bootstrap. Okay, let's check it. Okay, so actually the issue was we didn't activated the virtual environment, or did we? I think we have created two things. Okay, let's remove one terminal. So I was running the run server without activating the virtual environment, but it's working. So now if we go to API, okay, so no need to go to API, we need to go to admin and we need to go to users, and here we have a admin, right? And let's go to token. So we don't have any token, we will create that. We will add the functionality that how this token will auto generate when we sign up the user, but let's create one token for the admin. Save. So this is the token, and let's put the username and password for this user, and we will see that what it is returning, right? So so the URL will be this, copy, and URL is okay, response dot data. Okay, so let's do one thing. If response dot okay, then let's console the response. Let's copy this one and paste it here, right? And copy this, paste it here, right? And let's see how it is, what it is returning. Okay, so we'll say username, password, submit, token auth, request, response. Okay, so it is returning the token, correct? So and now, and also it is saying thank you for login, right? So if it is returning the token, so what we will do, If response is okay, then we will say local storage dot set item user token, right? User token and response dot data dot token, correct? And no need to do these things, but we will redirect to, let's redirect to home page, right? So return, no need to return, just redirect to home page, correct? So click here. What is the error? Okay, so there is a different thing that will a redirection, we can check it. So okay, so let's check that local storage is working or not. So we'll go to storage, and we'll go to local storage. We have this one, and we can go to a user token. Here you can see this is user token, right? And we'll see that why this redirect is not working. Okay, and if user token is exist, then we will redirect user to the my to-do list, right? And this my to-do list only open if user token is exist, correct? And we'll show the logout thing. Okay, so let's see why this redirect is not working. We applied the old school method here, location.href, and it will redirect to the home page, right? But it should redirect to the my to-do list actually. So if we say my to-dos, right? So here, so let's go to here and log in and submit, and it will go to my to-dos, right? So now we also need to change the header things. So if you go here and if we go to components header, so here we will fetch the data, right? So we will see we will get the this one, copy this, paste it here, and we'll say constant user token, and we will say get item, right? And from this, and we will say if user token not equal to undefined or user token not equal to empty, then we will show the logout link. So for the logout, let's create constant logout link set logout link equal to use state, right here. Okay, so false, by default false. Let's say not say link, just set logout. Okay, and then we can set logout true, correct? Okay, and we can see here logout, and then we can show this link to logout, paste this. If not, okay, so if logout, then we will show this right? Else we will show this. Okay, so we will say logout, and this is login, right? Okay, so what we need to do, we need to do this as a use client, correct? Too many renders, directly limit the number of renders to prevent infinite loop. Okay, so what we need to do here, we need to run this in the use effect. Okay, So let's use effect. Okay, and then here we will run the function, right? So no dependency, so we'll say this one, right? And in the use effect we will do this thing. Okay, all right, so we will say here use client. Okay, because use state only work in the client component, right? All right, so here we have data, and here you can see logout. So let's create a one more thing, logout component, save logout.js, and in the logout component what we will do, we will remove the data, correct? So in the logout when it comes to the logout component, we will not do anything here. Let's keep it simple, this one, and just perform the action. So let's remove all the things, and here let's say no need to use client or do anything. What we will do here, we just remove local storage dot set item, or we can say remove item user token, and then we will redirect this href to log, correct? So let's see how this is working. So when we click on this logout, it is going to log out, but it is not redirecting to the user. Okay. Oh, sorry, logout, sorry, logout page is not found, it is saying component. Actually this should be logout, not a not component, but it should be logout page. So let's do frontend source. Let's go to app, sorry, here let's create logout, and in the logout paste it and name it page.js, and it should work. So login, sorry, so when we click on this logout, then it will go to this page, right? So let's go here, local storage is not defined. Where is that? Local storage is not defined. Okay, so this is server component, let's say use client. All right, so this is coming here, and why this is showing header, if let's console this user token, sorry, console this user token, this is null. So if set logout to true, else set logout false. So we are saying if user token equal to not equal to null or not equal to empty, then true, else it will false. This is user token and user token console, and in this use effect we have set logout, and this logout we are saying if log out equal to true, then we are saying true, uh, uh, not equal to null. Why this is showing? Okay, this is correct now. All right, so login, let's say admin submit, and here it is saying, and you can see here this is showing logout. Wherever we go it will show the logout, right? And if we click on the logout, then it will redirect to the login page and remove the logout link and convert it to login. Correct? All right, so now one more thing we need to do. When we sign up the user, it should create the token. Correct? So let's do this. Let's do this with the here using Django. Okay, so where is that? Let's say generate. Okay, so generating tokens by using signals, right? So we will with the receiver we can create the token, right? So what we will do here, okay, so let's use the signals. So in the model, or we can see if you want to every user to have automatically generated token, then you can simply catch the user post save, right? So let's copy this one. Okay, and we should have models.py file here, right? Let's paste it. So post save and everything is working. Users and we can also we can settings, we can do one thing. Let's do serializer user here and paste this user here. Correct? So whenever we create now new user, it will create the token. Correct? So let's see how this is working. So here we have our tokens. This is for one user. Let's create one more user. Let's say John Doe, John, password, submit. See, this is the token for John. Correct? So we are creating the token and we are creating the user, and user can log in, and user can now user can browse the to-do list. Okay, so now the next step is let's go to set up the to-do, fetch the data and do all the things. Okay, so before the to-do, one more thing that we need to do, when we are signing up, then it is saving the plain password in the database, right? And when we are trying to log in, then it is trying to match with the hashed password. So when we are signing up, we need to convert our plain password to hash password, right? So for that, we will open the serializer, and here we will create a function, override the actually function self validated data. Correct? Now user equal to user, and we need to pass here data. So first name, last name. So we'll say first name equal to validated data, first name, right? As defined in the official documentation. Correct? Then we have to say then last name, and then username. So last name, username, right? So last name here, and let's say username, and with this user dot set password, and we will set the password from here. We will say password, correct, and then user dot save, and then we will return user. So this, actually we are overriding the create function, right? So create method. So let's see now. So it should save the data in database as a hashed password. So let's say John Doe John 1, and let's say John 1, right? So save. Thank you for registering with us. Let's go here, user John 1, and here you can see password is saving now. If you go to previous user, you can see here invalid password. Now let's try to log in with this user, and let's see login is working or not. So login is working, and we are going to my to-do list, right? So now we can work on the my to-do list. All right, so this my to-do link will show only if logout is exist in the header. So let's go to header, and we'll say this logout link and this my to-do link also, right? So copy this one and paste it here, and we need to wrap this in some fragment, right? So this thing, correct? So if I say log out, then it will not show, right? And if I say login, then it will show, correct? So let's say John 1 and password, submit. So my to do, and about link. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. Okay, so when we click on this my to do, this is on my to do list. So let's open the my to do page actually. So where is that my to do page, right? So here we have a data. This is data which are static data. So let's create a button for adding the new list, right? So task created. Let's create a one more row, right? And in this we have sorry in this we should have call span 2, and we should have a link, right? Sorry, link, and link href is uh, create. We will say to do create, correct? And we need to import the link here. Link. Let's import this next link. Okay, so if I see here nothing is showing, let's say create, and also let's create button success, correct? And let's say button sm, right? So let's remove all this. Okay, so create, when we click on this create, it should open the form where we can add the task, right? Okay, so we need to create the component for that, and this is for showing the data, right? We will also show we will also create a small component for this data, right? So what we will do here, we have a component. In this we have a lot of things. In this we have a component. Okay, so we have a page, and we all have this thing. So let's fetch the data. Okay, let's say Let's create a component. So here we have source app component. Let's create to do list.js, right? So to do list.js, and let's copy any of the component. Let's say this login, copy, paste here, right? And let's say to do list. Okay, and we will add this in our to do. We'll import this, correct? So we'll say to do list, copy this. It is better to divide all the things in components, so it will be easy for that, right? So to do list, right? So this is our to do list. Okay, now we have to do one more thing. Okay, so to do create to do list, so no need for this, right? Then in the to do list we can fetch the data, right? So we have a user state, error messages. What we can do, let's remove this function first. Or let's say this function, let's remove this one. Async function, let's remove this. Actually, let's remove this. All right, let's remove this one also. No need for form. Okay, okay, we need this tr actually. Okay, all right, then to do list and success error messages, and this one key status text, let's say one, no, status equal to true, item dot task, let's say task one, created date, let's say this 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 item is not defined. Where is that? Let's say this one, right? So task created and all the things. So this is working. Now we need to fetch the data here, right? So for fetching the data, first of all, we need to create a model in our database, and we need to create a API, right? So let's do that. Okay, so for to do API, here we have created a model, right? In the model file in the main app, right? Main app model file. So this is to do list, and I have defined the title, status, right? And we have created the app for the simple steps, make migrations and migrate, right? So this created the table here. Okay, then what we need to do, we need to create an API from this model, right? So let's open the serializer. Okay, and let's copy the serializer. No need to customize this, we just need to remove this thing, and we will import the from dot models import. We will import the to-do list, correct? And from the to-do list we'll just need a title, status, correct? And this is done. Okay, one more thing we need to do, to do serializer. Okay, now let's open the views. In the views we will copy this, paste here, and we'll import the to do serializer, and here we will add the serializer, and from the model, from dot models, import to do list, and we'll add the to do list here. Yeah, okay, so we'll say to do list view. Okay, so list create API view, and the last thing, we need to define the URL. So we'll copy this one, right, and we'll say to do's. Okay, so from to do list view to do, let's say API list view. I know that we need to change the name, so let's change the name here. Okay, so we have this thing, so users and all. So let's first test the we'll test the API. So this one, API slash to do's. Okay, service running or not? No, service not running. So we'll say py manage.py run server. All right, so let's remove the slash from here. Okay, so let's add the slash. If it's going to slash, then let's add it. Okay, so this is to do, and let's say here first, by default it's disabled, so post, so by default this one, then second, right? So if I click here, then you can see first and second, this is true, this is false, right? Now we need to fetch here, right? So let's open the front end. Where's that front end? And page, right? And here we have a to-do list, so we'll go to component to-do list, right? And we will fetch the data. So I will simply run this thing. So what we will do here, I will create a function, right? So this is our let's create a function here. Let's remove this. Okay, let's create a function, async function get to do list, right? And then we can run this one. Let's copy this one, see here, and we need to run this URL, right? And just remove all the things because no need to send any data. Oh, sorry, this URL is this, so let's remove this one, right? And then we can say console.log, and we'll say response, and here we will say constant response data equal to await get to do list. Okay, so right, so now we can console this. Okay, we are running this function, so just do this thing. Okay, let's see now here. So if I console this, then we are showing the data here. So status is 200, and data is not coming. Where is the data? Cookies. Let's see, it should return the data. Okay, sorry, All right, then if I click on the to do's, what is this? This is not valid JSON. Okay, let's go to network tab actually, and let's see here. Why this is not showing? Let's see my to do's. Click here, response. Okay, request response. It is not showing the data. Why this is not showing the data? Page null. Okay, let's see here. Let's return this response. Actually, let's run this function here in this component, correct? And then we can do one thing. This is response. Let's say if response dot okay, then what we will do, constant response data equal to response dot JSON, right? Wait, this is else, response dot data is empty. Let's say equal to empty, correct? And then here we'll say response. Actually, let's console this data, response dot data. Okay, so what it will do, what it is going, uh, 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 uh. sorry. So my to do's here, my to do's and response. Not sure why this is showing like this, why this is not showing the response, but let's try to do that. We can do one thing. Let's map this response dot map. The first one is item, second one is index, correct? And actually we need to return here, return this one. So we need to return this thing. Okay, let's remove this. Here, all right, response dot data dot map. Okay, so mm, 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 mm. Okay. Okay, so I think we should, let's do this with a, simple way, right? Let's not do this in a complicated way. So what I'm going to do here, first of all, let's define this use client, right? And then here, not here, let's say use state and use effect, right? Use state and use effect we can use only in the client pages or component. All right, then use effect what is this? Okay, here, and then let's create a function fetch data and constant response equal to away fetch, and we need to define the URL. So this is the URL, and then constant response data equal to await response.json, right? And we will call this function here. Okay, so use effect will run without any dependency. Okay, and we also need to create constant or let's say to-do list set to-do list. By default it will be empty, right? And here dot set, this is response dot data. Okay, and let's see now. Then we can simply this to-do list dot map, and then we can map this, or we can say return, not return this thing. Why this is showing map? Oh, sorry, item index, and we can do this with this, right? And not sure why this is not this should be in this, right? So to-do list, here is a to-do list, and here is a to-do list dot map. Let's say this is index return. I think this will not come. Okay, all right, then let's go to next app, and this is showing 18 number line issue. Why this is showing this function is closing here, this is closing, and I think it should be where we are doing wrong, right? No need to close this here. Okay, so task one, so we just need to do item dot title for second. We forgot one thing. We need to create a auto add field, but we didn't create that. Okay, so and let's add a condition if dot status, then text success, else text dark, right? So you can see here this is true, and let's add third one. Let's post this, and if you refresh this, you can also see in third this is not done. Okay, so now let's add the auto date add field when it's creating to-do list. Okay, so in the model what we will do, we'll say created at equal to models dot date field, date time field, and then auto equal to true. right? Now let's run the migration here. Py manage.py make migrations. Okay, it's saying created a default. We need to define something. Default equal to 0, let's say. On migration, default manage auto now add. What is this? Default, we need to define the current date and time. So it is saying the option one of these fields may be present. Let's say today's date. So we need to import the date time. Import date time, and in this date time dot date time dot today. This is default. Or we can do one more thing. Let's remove this. Let's go here. Let's browse this table. Let's delete all the data. Right, so let's delete all the data. Then let's run the migration again. Still default because database needs something in the existing row. Oh, right changes. Okay. Still we don't have save, close. I think we have data structure, my to-do list, browse, no data. So let's run the migration again. Okay, let's define the default, whatever. Okay, let's define this. All right, so make migration. What is it is impossible to add field created with the alternate to totally default. This is because the database needs something to populate existing. Provide a on off default now, which will be set as on off. Let's say default false then. Okay. Let's remove this then. And okay, let's do one thing then. If it's not allowing this, then we can do date time dot today, right? And this is date field. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Okay, manage.py migrate, right? And then manage.py run server, right? And if I go here and click here, refresh this page, sorry, and one more thing we need to add in the serializer also. So this will be created app. All right, then this is title post expected but got date time refusing to. Okay, this is dot date. Okay, I think it should work now. Let's see. Refresh. Title calendar 9 post data is posted. Okay, so it's working now. And if I refresh this page, we have two datas, and two datas. Let's show the data also. So here we have created, right? So this is the data. Now we need to create the add form, and we also need to show the update the data, right? So what we will do, this is to-do list task created at. If we have a page, let's copy this one and let's say actions, right? And in the sections we should have this thing, and we will define two links, hr here. We will say edit, and we will say delete, right? And also we need to do a link. We need to import link from next link. Not sure why this is not working. It should work, but let's see. All right. Okay, let's say hash element component is exporting link from, oh sorry. All right, so edit delete. Let's do one more thing, separator. Separator, this kind of thing. Not cool, not cool. Then let's make it cool. Button, button info, button sm, right? And then class name button danger, and then margin start to. Okay, so when we click it, it should open the update form. When we click this, it should open the create form. Not here. When we click this, then it should delete the uh, task, right? Or we can say uh, let's say we can say done. We'll say success, right? One more thing, I'm still thinking, if I do the s in this. Okay, great. So if status is done, then what we will do here, I will do one more thing. I will add a link here. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's not add this class name, but let's add, if status this one, then we will do s, and here we will do item dot title, right? Else it will normally show item dot title. Where is the issue? Where is the issue? Where is the issue? I think issue is here. Issue is dollar here, and then dollar here. Okay. Why this is saying text dark? All right, so this both task is not done, false. So let's add one more task, third. done, and date is here, post, refresh. Oh, great, this is showing as a string, but we need to show as a data. Let's remove this one. Okay, so this is done, and if it's done, then we no need to show this button. Done, right? Sorry. So if not, then we will show this button, else we will show nothing, right? So this is, so when we click on done, it will add the strike, right? So I think we should add the strike, and we should also make it some class name. Sorry, I'm taking too much time. So I will say bg light, or we can say bg warning, right? And then else nothing, right? So mm, 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 mm. it's not taking the, okay, now it's taking. So third, and this is warning, okay, or we can say uh, secondary. Okay, so when we click on this, no need for edit also. Okay, if task is done, it means done. Okay, we need to define this thing, fragment, or we can say the parent tag. All right, here we have the parent tag. Okay, so now this task is done. So now let's work on the done section. When we click on done, it will add the strike on this task. Okay, so what we need to do, let's do work on the creation, right? All right, so when we click on this done, it should add the strike, right? So for this, first of all, let's make it a button, right? Then this button will go here, and then this will be type button, and we will add the on click function. So on click task done handler, and we need to pass the id, right? So item dot id, right? Then we have to make it a function, right? So task done handler, right? And then we'll create a function here, function task done handler, right? And this we will create this function as a synchronized function, and we will do this, copy paste, right? Okay, let's do one thing, set to do list. Okay, so no need to check this. Task done, so here we have a task id, right? API to do will pass here, the task id. We also need to create the function, we also need to create the API for this. We'll create that. So this is the task id, and we need to pass method equal to put, because we are updating the data, right? And then we need to, okay, So this method is put, and we are passing this thing, and we also need to pass body. So body will be JSON dot stringify status false, status true, right? So the JSON dot stringify status true, and then headers content type application JSON, right? So this will give us response. Let's console the response. Okay, console this response. So, and we also need to create the API. So let's create the API also. So copy this one, paste here, and we need to pass the PK primary key to do API update view, right? So let's create the update view. Copy this. We need to fetch retrieve update destroy view. Okay, so with this single mixin we can we can update data, retrieve data, delete data, right? So to do list, this is here. We need to fetch this to do, oh, is that views dot, sorry, views API views here, to do list update. Copy this and paste it here. Okay, so now from here, so when we run this function, it will go here, and then it will go in the view, and it should update the data, right? So, and we also need to do one more thing. We need to do, let's say, constant, because we want to run the use effect, and use effect run whenever we change the state. So let's create one more thing. Let's say status modified set status modified, right? So by default it's false. Use state, by default it's false, and after if we say if response dot okay, then we will say true, right? So whenever we change the state, it will run this use effect. Okay, so now let's try to check this. So when we click on here, done, let's say what it is saying now. Response detail not request status true, and detail not found. Let's go to admin and let's try to run the app API from there. What is this? It's not using. Let's create them. Py manage.py create super user. Okay, on server, login, and then we have where is to-do list. Okay, we didn't added the to-do list. Okay, let's go to APIs then. Here we go to APIs, to do's. Let's go to do. Oh, one more thing. In the serializer, we have to add ID here, right? So ID, let's say 1. So this is saying the data, and if I click here done, then it is saying title field is required. Okay, so one thing that we can do, update patch, click here and see this. So this is saying status true, and if I refresh this page, then it is working. But now uh, it should automatically add the strike, right? So it means it is not fetching this function. Okay, so what we can do here, if I say copy this, right? If I say copy this and paste it here, okay, then what we can do with this? Okay, and in the use effect we are doing this, so no need for this status modified, but it should run. Okay, fetch data. If response is okay, then fetch data, right? So if I say done, you can see this, right? So it means done is working, and this is the function that we are fetching the data. In the use effect, it's running, and if response is okay, then it's also running, right? So all data is done, correct? So now we can work on the create, right? So let's work on the create. For create, we need to create a one more page, or we can say one more component, right? So this is list, and when we click on this, okay, so this is page, so we are going to do this to do create, right? So let's say in the front end, in the source, in the my to do's, okay, so my to do's, all right. So in the my to do's, let's create and in this create we'll create a page, right? So the link will be my to do's create, right? So where is this? So we'll say create to do list. No need for to do list. Link is fine. Let's remove this table, all right? And if I click on this, where is this? Okay, so let's go to my to do. Oh, sorry, my to do's. Where is this? Okay, so create. When we click on this create, it should open my to do's dot. Okay, so this is opening now. So this is our page. I will go to sign up page, right? I'll go to sign up page, then we'll see. Okay, so this is our sign up page. I'll copy this, go to, this is page create, right? So we can, let's say, paste here. We need to do all the things, so let's say create. Okay, success message, error message, form data. So in the form data we need only the title, right? And here we need to do to do's, right? Everything, thank you, data has been added. We'll say data has been added, right? And if any error, then we will show the error. Let's remove all the things. We just need title, right? So title, a name will be, id will be title, name will be title, and it's required field. And this row should be close after this. Okay, and this is 6. Okay, let's see. This is showing first name last name, but it should show only the title. Okay, so this is fine. Margin bottom, not margin only bottom, but it should show the margin top bottom. All right, so this is the, let's give them offset 3. Okay, let's make it, let's put this button into this column. What is this? After this, okay, let's give some padding. No, sorry, margin. So this is our title, right? And to do title, task title we can say, right? And when we click on the submit, it should add the data and it should show the message or error message, whatever we want, or we can redirect it to do list. But let's add this. So we'll say first task submit, the field is required. Which field is required? Let's go to here and let's submit this. Which field is required? Saying response title, name title. Oh, sorry, we are sending this data, so it should be title. Okay, and for the messages, it should be come in the it should come in this. All right, so sorry. All right, so this field is required. Now let's say first, and then let's say submit, data has been added. And if I go to my to do's, so first is showing now, correct? So uh if I click here done, then data has been done, right? Now we need to do one more thing. Create let's say second task, right? And then we submit, data has been added, and we go to my to do's. We need to work on the edit, right? So done is working, create is working, we need to work on the edit. So let's work on the edit, then we will see how we can perform this total views, right? Okay, so now we need to work on the edit. So what we will do, we need to do here, we will create uh, one more field. We'll say id, right? And in this this is my to do's, this is create, and let's copy this one. Let's copy this page, let's paste in this id, right? And let's open this. All right, so we'll say edit, correct? What we need to do. Okay, so first of all, let's see, is this fetching the proper data or not? So in the to-do list, we have edit. So what we will do, my to-dos slash my to-dos slash. Okay, let's do this in a proper way. So my to-dos slash item dot correct, and this will be end with slash, right? So when we click on this, it will open that page, right? So let's go here, click here. So it is opening this page, you can see here. So we are using the pages route, so my to-dos and then the dynamic thing, and then we have a page, right? So first of all, we need to fetch this data, right? So for fetching the data, we need to pass here the id, right? So we'll use, what we will use here, use params, right, from the navigation, right? And here constant params equal to use params, correct? And we'll see what parameters we have, correct? So if I go here, okay, so let's go to console. Okay, it's saying syntax error. So where is the syntax error? Let's check it. All right, so we were doing the thing I was doing in the to-do list, but we need to do in the id page, right? So here we have a use params, and this should be params, and from the params we can fetch the id, right? And from the id we can get the data. So this will be we need to remove all this, and this will be params dot id, right? So this will give us data. So we will fetch the data. Let's go to to-do list. We'll use the use effect. Where is this? This is submit handler actually, but what we need simple function. So this is the function submit handler. We will do that later, but let's fetch here. Let's paste this. So the fetch data will be here, and this id will go here also, right? And this params. Okay, so now we need to fetch the data, set to do list. Actually we just need one to do, so we'll copy this one, paste here, to do item, set to do item, right? And here we will set to do item and fetch data, right? So fetch data will be here, and when we submit the data here, my to do here will create. So in the create we have a submit handler, so we'll copy it from here to here, and use effect will same. This is from here to here. This is success message we have, I think already exist. So success message, error message. Now this will fetch the data. This will run the function when we load the page. This will fetch the data, but we only need specific data. So we only need to update specific data. So we'll not post, we will use the put method because we are sending, okay, patch, sorry. When you are sending any single field, then you can send patch method, or if you are sending all the data, then you can set put method, right? In the status we are sending put, sorry, patch, and in this we are also sending patch, right? So we have a to do item here, and we are setting this to do item when we are fetching the data. And what else? So let's say value equal to do item dot type, right? So let's see, use effect is not defined. Okay, great. Use effect, now it's defined, right? So this is saying second task, and in the model we didn't added this, so let's add in the model also. So in the admin, let's say admin dot site dot register from main dot models import to do list, right? And this to do list, right? And let's see now. So here we have a to do list and all the data. This data is showing object, so let's do one more thing here. Let's define the string self return title, self dot title. Okay, so this is second task, right? Now let's update this task. We'll say updated. Oh, one more thing. Okay, so from here we'll say on change handle change, right? And we'll create a function here, function handle change. Okay, and then we will say e. So what we will do, set to do item title. By default it should be object, so by default title will be, all right. So let's keep this like this. So by default set to do item title will be e dot target dot name, right? So okay, to do item is not defined. Where is that? To do item is not defined. Why this is not defined? To do item, handle change, and this is change handler. This function is also working. Why this is not working, this function? Fetch data, change handler, submit the form actually. So what we need to do here, to do item handle change. Let's see this, sorry. Okay, so we were doing one thing that I forgot to mention. Here we are doing the name, actually this should be the value, so that it is always coming the title, right? So now we'll say updated, submit. Okay, so if I see here task updated, right, in my to do, and here you can see. So I think everything is working. Create is working, edit is working, done is working. Now we need to increase this views whenever we load the page. Okay, and in the about you can see here the data. So if you want to change the data, you can go to the about page. So my main motive is to create this small app, to do app, that we can learn the authentication, we can learn the API working, we can learn how we can do CRUD, we can learn how we can interact with the events in the Next.js, right? We will create lot of more projects in future with the Next.js and Django, right? Maybe on more technologies like Laravel and other things, right? Please comment your technology related views, that which technology should we use, right? So let's do this total views, and then we will upload this project to GitHub, so you can check, you can download, you can learn. Okay, so this project is free of cost, of course, right? So let's do this total views. Okay, so we need to get the total views or update the total views whenever we load the footer, right? Or whenever we load the page. So I added the functionality in the footer. We are with the post method. We are calling this URL total views, and I have created the corresponding serializer and model and views, right? So here you can see website views, total views. In the serializer, I'm overriding the create method, so we are counting. If row greater than 0, then we will fetch the total counts, right? So we'll say total views from the first row. So we'll say total views, we can say not total, the total views dot total views plus 1, right? So from the first row we are from this first row we are counting the total views and updating, right? If not, then we are creating the new row. Great. So if you see here, you can see 3, you can see 5, you can see 6, 7, right? So click here, my to do, right? So whenever we load this, then it will uh, update the views. Okay, so but for the views you need to refresh this page, right? So this is about, okay, so this is in the footer, and this is loading, this is updating the views, correct? So I think we have done with this app, and I will upload this app on the GitHub, and this is free of cost, and I will add this link, a GitHub link in the description, right? And in upcoming videos I will create, like I said in the my YouTube community, that will create a total management system that we will create definitely. So I will create in the Next.js, right? So this will be our theme. Okay, so I know that this is late, but I will do whatever I have committed. Okay, so please share, subscribe, like this channel, and if you need source code of any of the project, some projects are paid, right? Some subscribers say that you should give it free. So some projects are free, but some are paid. But you can see that tutorials, if you are actually want to learn, then tutorials videos are free, you can learn from free. But if you need the code, source code, then uh, you have to, support me, or you can say pay me some amount. Okay, and then it will be good for me to run this channel smoothly, right? It will motivate me if you support me, right? And give me projects ideas, so I will create. Okay, so let's see uh, how far we can go. Okay, so I will try to create more interesting projects, right? So in various technologies, my main focus is in Python, JavaScript, and PHP. So I hope you enjoyed this to-do list, and if you have any uh, comment or anything, then please add in the comment section. And please don't forget to subscribe this channel, and like this video, comment whatever you have in mind, So thank you so much, and we'll meet soon again.